Hey everyone, welcome to the 20-minute Connection Cards Deep Dive podcast. Thanks for listening. My name is Brian Tohana, and today I'm joined by Angela Hauck. Hi, Angela.
Hey, thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Angela spent the first 2 decades of her life overweight, living off of deep fried foods and pop. The next 5 years were spent struggling with anorexia and drug addictions. Now, she's a professional bodybuilder who helps women lose fat, gain confidence, and build muscle. So I'm really excited to talk to Angela today. You can check out her website, angelahauck.com. Before we begin, if you're new to the podcast, we're using connection cards here to draw random questions to spark deeper conversations and hone in on who Angela is and what really matters to her. So if you're not aware yet, we've got a Kickstarter crowdfunding campaign for connection cards until April 1st, and we're on a mission to bring people together. So you can find out how they help you practice empathy, which I'm most excited about, and experience connection at connectioncards.ca. All right, I'm excited to dive in with Angela. Angela, are you ready?
I believe so.
All right, 20 minutes begins now. The first question I pulled is, what makes you feel really alive?
That's a great question. I would say that I feel the most alive when I'm working with somebody who cannot see their full potential quite yet, and we are going through some sort of powerful journey, and there becomes this, they don't know if they're going to get to their goal. They don't know if they have it inside to become the person that they're becoming. And then they essentially go through this transformation through working with me, and they're looking in the mirror and they can't even believe the person that they see. So one of the most powerful things I do within my business is I do photo shoots. And the photo shoots aren't about who's going to weigh the lowest amount or what your body is going to look like. It's about going on the powerful journey of loving yourself and yes, changing your body, but also just seeing the beautiful person and the things that you're capable of. So we do these photo shoots, and in that magical moment, what I see is this person who never thought that they could be doing a fitness photo shoot, who never thought they were going to be able to lose the weight, who never really thought that this was possible for them. And they see that it is, and that pure joy in their eyes is when I feel the most alive, when I'm like, holy crap, I'm making an impact in a way that it runs so much deeper than just helping people lose a few pounds.
Wow, yeah, it goes way beyond the weight, and you get to experience and see joy in someone else's eyes. I love that.
Yeah, and if you've always been a certain way or always thought you had to fit into a certain mold, and you finally see this, holy crap, I don't have to fit into this mold. I can be whatever I want to be, and I can go after whatever I want to be. It's I don't know, people's lives just open up. They live different. They love different. They really show up in this world in a very different way once they see that those things are possible. So yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things that I believe it's so magical. I can't even put words into it.
It does seem to be connected to why we're here, helping others make the same kind of transformation in their own way that we've been able to do for ourselves. Does that fit for you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
The second question I drew, you might have already answered with this, but I'm curious if you have got a different answer. What was an experience that connected with your soul?
I got a few of those, but I'm going to go back just so that we can talk about a different component. And it was probably one of I guess, how do I describe this? It was the time when I felt that I don't know, the soul, the universe, the something just shook me in a way that I can't really describe. And I went to Western Europe, and while in Western Europe, I did some backpacking, but then I also got robbed and ended up with nothing and ended up hitchhiking. And there were so many moments that in that silence, having absolutely nothing, that I connected with my soul in a way that I never had up until that point. I feel like it's so often that in that stillness and in that time of like just connecting with what makes you feel really alive, that that you hear that. And I found so many of those moments, like, it sounds crazy, but like sleeping in ditches and getting picked up by random strangers, and all these times, like, I just felt so connected to who I was as a person, and just could hear the messages that my soul was giving me all of the time. Like, hey, go here. Yeah, do this. I was like, okay. And I just, it was one of those moments where I really realized that, I don't know, like, that is what living is, and that is what is like living in alignment with what it is that you're supposed to be doing, is taking the moments to listen to those whispers, taking the moments to like really connect with what makes you happy and what makes you feel like, holy crap, I'm alive right now. And so I feel like there was a lot of power in that entire experience that made me have so much more faith in, what's what's right for you. Just continue to trust that, and continue to trust your gut, and everything will work out exactly the way that it was supposed to, even if at the time it seems like holy crap, I should be freaking out right now, or I should be worried right now, or I should be like stressed. It's just having the complete faith and certainty that everything is supposed to be happening exactly how it has, and it's not happening to you, it's happening for you. And that kind of perspective really takes you a long way in terms of living a life that fulfills you, not only from like a surface level, but also from a soul level.
It really is a gift to have that perspective, and I share it with you, that everything is happening for you. I feel very lucky for that. And in that those moments when you have less or nothing, do you think it becomes almost, and times are really hard, and we're almost in that kind of like darkness being tested in some way almost, do you think part of what makes it easier to become still or to connect with ourself or our soul is like, do you attribute that to like less distraction almost, and like forced to try and find something good?
I think so. I think it just clears space, right? It clears space too. And that's where I think minimalism has so much power, and the ability to live with less and be happy with less. I think there's so much power behind that. But yeah, I think we have to make the space for it, or go to the places where we can create that space. And for me, it's often not at home. Like at home, I'm very distracted by the hustle of working, or distracted by a lot of other projects that are getting done. But finding that stillness for me is often with nothing around me, either in nature or in a place where there isn't a lot around. There isn't a lot of noise. There's really just a lot of silence. And I think that for me, that really helps me feel grounded and really feel as though I can listen to that without the distractions or the thoughts about other things. I don't know, there might be people listening to this that are moms, and that was for me one of the hardest things, to come back to being grounded and being still and listening to those whispers, because the big challenge that happens is that like we do have a little person that needs us, and a little person who is like needing us 24 hours of the day. So prioritizing that to be a part of your own wellness can really help create clarity and make sure that you don't get lost in the things that you are trying to pursue in your life, or trying to connect with in your life. We can't just only be a mom. I think if you are your own entity separate from being a mom, I think that's a good thing. I think it's good to still have your own, like not lose yourself just trying to keep up with all the things that mommyhood can bring.
I love that distinction that I think I heard you make there between like the role of mom and sometimes getting caught up in that defining who you are. And that's one of the many roles that we have.
Mm-hmm.
What
I find it so interesting, and it's always really baffled me a little bit, is yes, becoming a mom is very powerful, but it's not like when we describe ourselves often. We don't often say, I'm a sister, or I'm a brother, or I have two parents. Like we in our other relationships that we call family, we often aren't using that to define ourselves. And it's not to say that I'm discrediting being a mom. I'm just trying to say that like a mom is one of the parts of myself, but it's not going to be the defining feature for me. And nor should I believe that my son is my possession. I feel like he's the world's possession and the universe's possession. He's going to continue to do the things that are right for his path. And I would be ripping away from his own journey if I didn't allow for him to go about that in the way that he needs to, without me getting too much in the way of that. And I think that's one of the beautiful things about children, is if we, not to say we let them do everything that they want, because they do have some crazy ideas and they do some things that are slightly dangerous. But I also believe that his mind is brilliant. And I'm like, okay, yeah, okay, you see monsters upstairs and you want to go and want to be friends with them? Cool, let's do that. And it's like just allowing that imagination and allowing that, like, that's obviously what he's being told or what he's seeing, and not trying to squash that and not trying to like make the world what I see, because the world is different from everybody's perspective. And yes, he's a child, but if that's what he sees, or that's what he's like creating his world to be, even though I'm his mom, I'm not going to try to squash what it is that he's seeing. I would be robbing him of the experience that he can have for his own life.
It sounds like something that we share in common is that the belief that everyone knows what's best for them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Next question. What does it mean to be a woman?
What does it mean to be a woman? I find that that's an interesting question. What does it mean to be a woman? I feel like, I don't know, I have a very, I don't want to say a tough time with gender, but I feel like I don't see, it sounds weird, but I don't see women as women and men as men, if that makes sense. I almost see like everybody is just people. And so when I think about like what it means to be a woman, I feel like I am the same as a man in some ways. And I feel like we're all just people. And yes, there's some things that I believe that I do well, but it's not to say that I don't think men do the same things just as well. So I don't really see gender as being like, as a big divide with that. I find that because I do work with a lot of women in general, that's just been a way to kind of niche down the people that it is that I work with, and that just kind of works in a social media space and online space. It makes sense to niche down to the people that you're working with. But I feel like we're all just people, and we all have our own qualities, but I don't really differentiate between men and women, and I don't really enjoy the separation of genders.
Cool. I'm similar. Nice. What is a common misconception that people might have about you?
The one I get the most often is that I'm intimidating, and I don't
Do you think that's just like your confidence being misperceived kind of thing, or something like that?
It's that, and I think it's the bodybuilding. I think like the physique thing is intimidating, and I don't look like my competitor pictures, and I don't look like that on the average day to day. So I also feel like I think the physique comes off as being like a little bizarre, even though it's only like a temporary period of time. But then I feel like when people meet me, they're like, oh my God, you're not like what I thought you were going to be like at all. And I'm like, what do you mean by that? And it's often comes back to like, what? Like, I thought you were going to be intimidating. I thought you were going to be like, I don't know, just a lot of bodybuilders are viewed as being like hardcore, or like, I don't know, just like so very self-absorbed, very like in the gym all of the time. And yes, there's seasons for me where I am spending a lot of time in the gym, but I feel as though I do a lot of other things that, although I'm a bodybuilder, that's again just one part of what it is that I do. I compete like once every couple of years. It's not like I do a lot of shows all of the time. There's a lot of other facets of myself, but I'd probably say that would be the one. The other thing people think is they think that I eat healthy like 100% of the time. They're like, you're gonna eat that? I'm like, yeah, girl, I'm gonna eat that, and it's gonna be delicious. So I would say that's also another one. In social settings, I think people have the perception that just because I'm in this space that like I would only live off of like vegetables and protein like 100% of the time, which isn't true.
Nice. All right, we're into our last 5 minutes. I've drawn 2 more questions. What non-physical qualities do you find attractive in other people?
Okay, number 1, I would say is ambition. I feel as though when somebody is ambitious, whether it's like they're ambitious about the fact that they really love cats, or they're ambitious about anything it is that is in their life, I'm just like, that's awesome. You love boats? Cool. Even if it's like not up my alley and somebody's just like so lit up about talking about it, I just want them to keep talking about it, and I'm so interested, and I'm like, whoa, like, how did you get into liking boats, or how did you get into liking cats? And like all of those things are very interested to me. So when I see somebody like having a lot of ambition or a lot of passion about something, I'm like, that's very exciting for me. I also hate surface level conversations. So I love people that go deep very quickly. And I also love people that are like touchy very quickly, only from the standpoint of like when you meet them and it immediately is a hug or a kiss on the cheek, it just kind of breaks that barrier of makes me feel like that they see us on the same level, or that they feel close enough to do that right away. And I just feel like that just really opens something of love, like a relationship of love, which I find just very, very cool. I also feel like one of the other big qualities that I find interesting for people is when somebody is not afraid to, like, it's almost like failing forward, or just knowing that things are always figure outable. So they'll just jump 2 feet into something being like, I will figure it out along the way. So they just have that kind of like courageousness about them. And even if it is to fail, they have the perspective of like, cool, that was a cool experience, versus always seeing it as, oh, that was a really terrible experience, or that could have turned out better, or whatever that is. I really appreciate that positive outlook.
Nice. What is something special you do for yourself?
Something special I do for myself. Like I feel like I do a lot of things I feel like I love podcasting. So like that's something special that I feel like it's one of those things where the audience obviously benefits from the conversation, but it's something that I really, really enjoy. So I feel like going after that as a project to do has been a dream come true for me. I also feel like my, when it comes to like, I don't know, like taking care of myself, or like feeling as though I'm like, I don't know, just making myself feel special. I feel as though like I put myself in a lot of settings where I feel like I can step into my power, and I feel as though that's really special, because I feel like I used to be so afraid to do things and to like put myself out there for particular projects, and I was like, oh, I'm not worthy enough to do that. Why would I go ahead and do that? And as scary as some of those things have been, I've come to realize that I would be robbing the world of so many of the beautiful things that I can provide. And so I feel like one of the things that I do for myself is just stepping into that versus running away from those opportunities that come knocking, right?
Hallelujah. Yeah. Oh, I'm like totally resonating with everything you said right there. And last question, Angela, what is the most spontaneous thing you've ever done?
I feel like I live everything very spontaneously versus like thinking it through. Spontaneous. Why don't I say something like would be
Or maybe you could like do one right now and just like break into freestyle rap or something like that, or
I don't know if I can rap. I don't know if I can rap. I feel like spontaneous things like just happen a lot of the time, and like with my son, just because he's like at that age of being completely spontaneous and like not really having a plan, like, hey, let's bake a cake today, or hey, let's build like a massive fort and like hide in it. So I think a lot of the spontaneous things come from that. However, me and my husband were on our honeymoon, and we did this really cool cave thing in Mexico that was amazing. It just made us feel like very spontaneous and like kids again. So it was like these underground caves where we went swimming, and you just had like this little light on your head, and you couldn't really see anything unless this like light was pouring or like pointing down underneath these underground caves. And it was just one of those things where we felt really alive, but also just felt like, oh my God, we're like not parents for a moment, and we're just like living again. So that felt really fun and spontaneous. When sometimes those things, when it comes to being spontaneous, I feel like it's become a little different when you have to hire a babysitter. You have to figure out childcare, like the spontaneous things as a couple. So that really felt that way for us.
Angela, well, what I really get about you is that you love being alive, and you love sharing your aliveness with other people. It's really, really cool to hear. So thanks everyone for being here with us as we got to deep dive with Angela and get to know her better. If you'd like to get to know her even better, you can check out her website, angelahauck.com. And you also have Instagram, right, Angela?
I do, yeah. So my Instagram is @Ange, and that's Ange with an E, Hauck _UFE Pro. And I spend most of my time on Instagram versus Facebook, so people can find out things that I'm doing over there.
Nice. So check her out there. And if our message of connection cards resonates with you, please share that with those who might want to get in on the love as well at connectioncards.ca. And be sure to check out our other podcasts as well of really incredible people. It's so cool to get to kind of see behind all of the layers in these podcasts with people and really discover like these incredible stories of who people are. So thanks everyone so much for listening, and we will see you next time.